You will be there.
We'll be there.
Tomorrow night at Jerry World, because Jimmy Johnson is about to be inducted finally after 30 years into the Ring of Honor. But let's talk football first. Who wins and what is the score, please?
I will be there, Skip T, you know, and Coach is getting an opportunity to come home and be inducted in the Ring of Honor where he belongs. Now, let me say this with the Dallas Cowboys. There's no way the Dallas Cowboys, you can go on the road looking for success and fail, and then come home where you've had great success and then fail. And in front of the second greatest coach in the history of the franchise. The coach that gave you a back-to-back. They gave this franchise a back-to-back.
Seriously, you can make a case he was the greatest coach. I understand the numbers, the record, the years.
We should have that discussion because I do believe when you build something like Tom Landry built, and he built the Dallas Cowboys and built it to what it is, that I don't know if you're going to ever put a coach above that.
Okay, fair enough. That's a conversation for another time. Go ahead. Yep.
But the two he got, Jimmy got back-to-back. I know that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. And it felt like it could have been 5.
Right. And he turned it around quickly from a 1-15 to winning 3 Super Bowls. We won 3 or 4 years. He left the last year, didn't get a part of the last one. But all of that will be in the air Saturday night. So I'm expecting the Dallas Cowboys to do what they've done. And with this little extra motivation right here to certainly serve up what you served up at home all year long.
Question for you, because I don't remember, maybe Skip. Did they win? Seriously, they win when you guys, the triplets, got inducted? Did y'all win? I don't know. I'm serious.
We were playing the Washington Commanders.
Just say yes so I know, man.
No.
Okay. And that's not a setup. I just wanted to let you know.
You messing with, man.
But they got inducted on time, when they should have been.
I just wanted to know if they had won.
All right.
That's all. No. That game, we were up the whole game, too. You shouldn't have put me on that, but we didn't win. But that's what I'm saying here to this team. To this team right here, right now. With all of that in the air, there's no way you return home when you need to gain some form of momentum going into the playoffs. I say if I'm in the locker room, I'm talking to guys like, come on, man, let's go. We got to finish this off right. We're going to finish this home thing off right. Whatever happens in the playoffs this year will happen in the playoffs. Yeah. We're going to finish this up right, and then we're going to go on the road and do what we have to do in the playoffs and take care of business and somehow end up in Vegas. And then we're going to come back and come clean this thing up next year and do it all again. Because we're representing today the back-to-back champion, Jimmy Johnson. You should be thinking back-to-back yourself. And that's why it's so important to close this out 8-0 at home so you can come back and pick it back up next year. And next year, make that thing go through Dallas.
Okay.
I got Dallas winning this game. You average 39.9 points at home. That's 40 points. I want you to put up those 40 points. Do what you do. Even in this incredible atmosphere, just do what you do. Put up those 40 points. I got them winning 40-28. A little bit better on the defense. I'm going to need the offense to take out Detroit's running game, not the defense. I'm going to need that offense by moving and scoring early to help take out Detroit.
Okay, by the way, you did have Dallas scoring 41 at Miami and winning 41.
Right. And I keep using this offense to try to suffice for that defense that can stop a run. Try to get ahead and make that take the run.
Okay. We wanted them to score 81 points in 2 weeks. Okay, that's interesting.
At home, they can do it.
No, that's interesting.
That's what I'm saying. So
by the way, we scored 20 at Miami, just for the record.
No, I think it's interesting. That's all. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I think they have the capabilities of doing it. Now, will they do it is the question. Because people like you.
I knew you were going to say this.
And people like Emmett and Charles and everybody else that's going to be there at halftime
won't be there.
Is applying pressure to these young men.
Agreed.
Right.
That we don't know if they can hold up to. By looking up there and seeing them out there with their gold jackets on and their rings. And
not verbal pressure. You're talking about presence pressure.
The pressure from their presence in the building.
Right.
Jimmy Johnson, can they live up to what Michael just said? I don't know that they can. Because when the pressure has been applied to this particular team, much like Gronkowski, who works here, said they've kind of...
Not a mentally tough football team.
Kind of crumbled to a degree. Now, a lot of that crumbling was on the road. There's no question about it. They stepped up to the challenge that Seattle gave them and Philadelphia gave them at home, which were two of the better teams because they played the Rams so early in the season. The Rams got better as time went on. Here's the problem that I have. Can they stop the run, which we know Dan Campbell or company is coming in there and they're going to play physical.
Absolutely.
They're going to run the football. They're not going to get away from it. They're not going to put the football in Jared Goff's hands. The Dallas Cowboys defense, better yet, their offense is going to be their defense in this particular game if you expect for Jared Goff to drop back 30-plus times to keep Detroit in the game. You mentioned, Skip, they have something to play for, which is the chasing the number 1, number 2 seed. They still have that to play for in Detroit. The Cowboys have something to play for, too. They need to show me and us and the rest of the world one of the things that they haven't been able to do was stop the run. You got a run-dominant team coming in to your house. Can you slow them down enough in the running game that your defense is not worn down to the point of being bullied and pushed around to giving up 200-plus yards at home on the ground to that offensive and Ben Johnson and Jared Goff? Can you do that? That we're going to see.
We're going to see.
You know, when you think about it, they did lose to Chicago Bears here recently. They turned things around and got back on track a week later. That's kind of been a little bit of Detroit. They kind of do this, do that. But then when they get late in the year, if you go back to last year, when they needed to win those games in the end, they won them.
They did.
And this is what scares me about them going up against the Dallas Cowboys. They know that they got to come in there, they got to win this game if they want to stay in contention with that 1 or 2 seed. It's right in front of them. So this is why I say I don't believe that the Cowboys will win this game. I got them losing the game 29-23.
Okay.
I give them a low scoring because it's going to be one of those deals, I think, for the Cowboys. You know,
one of those.
Just one of those, it's starting to melt.
Okay. It's starting to melt. I like that phrase.
It's starting
to melt. Okay.
It's starting to melt.
Allow me to start with the theory first proposed by this man sitting to my right. And that theory is that on Saturday night at halftime, a curse will be broken. A 30-year curse will be broken.
Right.
We have not even been back to an NFC championship game since the last time this man led that team to a Super Bowl following the 1995 season. But we go all the way back to Jimmy's last year of 1993 when he was fired by Jerry Jones. I don't want to dredge it all back up, but it happened and it lingered and it festered for 30 years, and finally, the fog has been lifted. I believe this man had a lot to do with it. I believe Troy Aikman was instrumental. I believe Emmitt Smith was instrumental in going to Jerry and convincing Jerry, one way or the other, that it's time. And I was actually a little surprised Jimmy would even go along with it after all these years, that he might say, hell no, I'm not going to participate in that. But he did.
It means everything.
It's forgive and forget. It's time. It's just time. It means a lot to his legacy, to his life. He earned the right to be up there on that stadium wall in that Ring of Honor. So I love the idea of, it's just like the Red Sox had to break their Babe Ruth curse, breaking through against the New York Yankees. We need to break the curse. I'm just not sure it'll be broken on Saturday night at halftime. I'm looking after this game for it to be broken. So I'm going to side with you. I don't have a good feeling about this game. And I just say what I see. I have not seen enough from my team in those 2 road games, albeit road games, to say they can flip the switch back at home against a very good football team with a very physical offensive line against our defensive line that once again will be without a player. And you can laugh at me all you want. You can scoff at this. But Jonathan Hankins is a key to the defensive line because he is a primary veteran, savvy run stuffer. He's just a big, strong man who knows how to get leverage. He knows how to hold that bottom line.
Skip.
Yes,
You
and
know
he's
the last 2 weeks he hadn't played, right? The last 2 weeks he hadn't played.
Right.
You got the third worst rush defense in the National Football League over those 2 weeks.
We do.
And he hasn't played, and you're going up against the third best offensive rushing team.
To Baltimore and Chicago.
Yeah.
Detroit is third best.
And the only reason why Chicago is there because of quarterback. He's running the football.
He is running the football. That is true. That is a fact.
Let's make sure now, because you're throwing it out as if that defense didn't do anything against Miami.
They did.
I'm very well against Miami.
They did. They held them to one touchdown.
One touchdown. Now,
who's throwing it out there?
Well, the last 2 games, and they gave up a lot of rush. Yeah, but we outrushed them. They gave up a lot of rushing yards against Buffalo. They did much better against Miami.
I understand that.
I'm just making sure, but
did better.
You tossed them both in there like they did.
They still clipped y'all.
Yeah, they barely.
Okay, and yet.
You had them scoring 41, Michael.
Yeah, on the road for the first time. But they do this at home all the time.
Almost under the radar.
All the time.
In Detroit. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Jahmyr Gibbs is having an Emmitt Smith-like rookie impact on a football team.
And
with the last couple of games,
play in the NFL yet.
He doesn't
just
know.
Starting.
He's just starting, but he can run it and he can catch it and run it. And he is a little more electric and explosive than even James Cook was, and we know what James Cook did to us at Buffalo. So Dan Campbell, who knows the Cowboys inside and out because he was your teammate as a Dallas Cowboy, he's going to come in and try to get very physical with a team that sometimes relies more on quickness on defense. And here's the point, to your point. I hope with all my heart and soul you are correct about this, because Nick Mullins for the Minnesota Vikings just last Sunday at Minnesota threw for 411 yards against this defense, which picked him off 4 times and cost him his job, with 4 picks and 4 sacks, because Aiden Hutchinson is the realest deal. He's real. And he will get to Dak Prescott. And their pass rush will cause some problems. Go ahead. Tyron, he did practice, and I think he's going to try to go. I think he's going to try to go, but he's got a back issue. I don't know, but he was limited in yesterday's practice. So that could be a key against that guy.
Obviously. No, it certainly will be a key.
It's very crucial.
Nick Mullins threw so many picks, 4, that he has lost his job, and they're going with that 5th-round rookie Jaron Hall out of BYU this week in Minnesota. So that's how bad he was throwing picks. But he also, when I looked at that, I lost sight of the fact he threw for 411 yards. Okay, so can Dak throw for 350? You would hope so. It'll be a game of keep away. Will they be able to just sustain drives with run, flip?
If you are going
your passing game against their running game,
that's right.
That's how Dak has to see this.
Yes,
that's how that offense has to see this. And they're on turf. I don't know why this team, for some reason, perform better on turf.
It does.
They are on turf. What I'm looking at right now is all the things mentally that gives them confidence to go play well, because they just fail in the test from all the things mentally that affects them on the road to get past that moment. So this is a big moment. This is good for them shoulders up. They have to prepare and win this game. They cannot go into the playoff losing 3 straight, Key.
That's
what you're trying to say.
Well, I'm not trying to say anything. All I'm saying is you got to play good in these last 2 games. You cannot carry slouchy behavior into the playoffs. Here's what I'm going to say, though. Your Fergusons, your Cooks, and your Michael Gallups have got to show up, because I can almost to a fault guarantee you, with a stack of money on the table, they're going to double CD Lamb. They're not going to allow him. They're not going to allow him to kick. They're just not. Aaron Glenn comes from the Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells. He's just not going to allow that to take place.
And I'm okay with that.
Those other guys have got to step up.
I'm okay with them doubling him and taking him out. I'm not okay with Dallas taking out CD Lamb.
Good point.
That's the problem. Right. I don't care. You're going to double him? Then I can look and say, hey, man, you got to make a play. You got to make a play. You have to make a play. But when they don't and we take them out, that's crazy.
Okay, to your point. At Miami, CD Lamb caught 4 balls in the first quarter for 93 yards. In the second quarter, he got no targets. In the third quarter, he got no targets.
Witness protection.
What?
They put him in witness protection, and it wasn't even him. It was them. It was your Mike McCarthy.
Right. It was us. And that was mind-blowing this year.
I saw a clever headline, Silence of the Lamb, not lambs, but Silence of the Lamb. That's what it was. Yeah. It was Silence of the Lamb, right? For 2 full – that's 30 minutes of football. You don't throw him at one pass.
Right. And that whole offense fell off at that moment. Yeah. Now, everybody, what Keith's talking about, regardless, whether you play in Detroit or whoever you're playing – you saw that, and they're going to say, oh, let's see how much they can play, if they can play a whole game, and they will focus solely on taking CJ
And Detroit's been known to give up the goods, bend, don't break style. I understand it. But can Dallas overcome people being in the building, stressing them out? Or can they overcome that sort of stuff? Or are they going to allow that little bit?
Like they can't handle things. People in the building are stressing them. What do you mean? This is football. This is football. There's nobody stressing them out. We're lifting them up. We're saying match what is in front of you.
So you don't think Buffalo, the Bills, when they got their guys in the building, this stresses them out. They had to win. Now the Cowboys got their guys in the building in a must-win situation and not limp into the playoffs. You trying to tell me
they never won anything?
But you trying to tell me that's
they got the Super Bowls. So they haven't won anything.
So you don't think
there's a difference?
So you don't think any of those guys, Michael Irvin's, Emmett's, I don't know if Troy's going to be there. I'm sure he probably will.
He will.
All the triplets and everybody, Charles Haley's and maybe Prime. I don't know. You don't think that's adding any pressure? I just want to know. It's a simple yes or no.
No, it shouldn't. I don't think it should.
Okay, but Michael,
I don't think it should.
You are underestimating how potent and powerful your aura is. It can be intimidating and overwhelming for a football team that has proven nothing.
And honestly, guys, this is the part that I talk about and worry about. I want to see you honor what has come before you. When we were playing our line, they used to do the thing that Tom Landry started, where you start, set up, you come all the way up. And it was saying, we respect what has come before us. And that's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to chase what has come before you. You don't run from it, you run towards it. And I'm expecting them to do the same.
You don't think they're going to be tight, not just because of y'all.
First of all, it's at home. But it's at home. That's all they talk about in Dallas from a player's perspective is trying to hold on to this undefeated home record. That's why I pulled it out in the genesis of this conversation, to try to attach something to them, like, I'm with you, hold on to this. And this is the biggest moment, this finale, with all of this going on in this moment. Make this sacred. This house sacred, you don't lose here. And that's what they have to go with.
I think you are correct to say that. They should. They shouldn't run from it. But my question to you is, do you believe that puts more pressure on top of them? Everything that's going on top of losing to Buffalo, losing to Miami, and many people picking the Detroit Lions to come into Jerry's world and win this game because Detroit has more riding on this than the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, they're in the fifth gear, man. They they're not going to go nowhere. The Giants ain't beating the Eagles, and neither is Arizona.
Well, there's still a long shot there.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Pressure, I've always thought of pressure. Pressure makes the good fold, makes the great focus. It's not a bad thing.
Okay.
It's a great thing. It makes you focus. If they got greatness in them, this pressure will make them focus, and they'll get it done. So let's see what they are. Are they folding or are they focusing?
Look quickly at what happened last year when Detroit went to Dallas. And I know it was last year, but a lot of the players on both sides are the same. The score was 10-7 Dallas going to the fourth quarter, so it was very low scoring, and Detroit drove the ball all the way to first and goal at our 1-yard line. This is early fourth quarter, and Jamal Williams, no longer with the Lions, now I think he's with the Saints, fumbled at the one, just like our rookie fullback fumbled at Miami near the goal line. And the whole game flipped on its head because that was the first of 3 Detroit turnovers in the fourth quarter. Jared Goff threw a pick. Jared Goff got strip sacked. And all of a sudden, we broke it open and won 24-6, okay? 24-6. So the point, it would have been 10-6 going to the fourth quarter. So the point, I think it's going to be a little lower scoring. But my problem is, I think Detroit is more confident in what it is right now than we are. I think we're still reeling a little bit. I know Dak said all the right things about each one of us need to look in the mirror and do our jobs. And we're pissed about what happened at Miami. And we're pissed about what happened at Buffalo. Okay, that's a lot of nice words and cliche talk. But I don't think this team feels as confident as Detroit will come in with confidence. I think it lost a little winning edge. I think it lost a little of its way at Miami and at Buffalo. And I don't think it's ready for this team yet. I'm not giving up. You think I'm giving up, but I'm not giving up. I don't even care if we lose to Detroit. We still got a shot because we're locked into that fifth seed.
Oh, Skip. Okay? But now, then you say, okay, maybe you try to rest people going in.
You would.
The Commanders game. So now you're heading into the playoffs. On a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, it's never happened before.
4-game rest.
Yeah. 4-game losing streak.
What the hell you mean rest?
Well, you'd lose to Washington, as you're saying, because you'd rest everybody.
You've been resting all year on the road. Why would you rest?
Because, as you guys just talked about, it doesn't.
They gotta fix stuff, man. They gotta fix their.
They might play for a half.
They gotta fix it.
But I don't know. Yeah, you would rest people. You're not putting Tyron Smith back out there. Listen, man.
I'm talking about the defensive side of the ball. When you're talking about resting, them dudes got to play, man. You can't get the Dallas Cowboys are not in a position.
It'll be too late
to limp into the playoffs.
It'll be too late to fix.
Okay.
That's why this game is crucial. This game is critical. Next week, rest come into play. Because we got older guys. You got Tyron Smith. You got Zach Martin. You have older guys that certainly need that rest. Well, let me finish. So now, if you go in and you start plugging in all of those places and you start putting crucial people on that football field, and those holes are there like a Dak Prescott, and somebody comes by there and hit Dak Prescott, now you have nothing. And we can't risk that.
I personally don't think
gaining nothing.
None of your defensive players, they need to play.
Yeah, they need to. They need to play better.
All right, so I am believing that Jimmy in the Ring of Honor will produce a ring for the Dallas Cowboys, sooner than later. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.